Today I want to look at macros. Now, a macro is a simple program containing a series of commands. And in our image processing, it'll often be convenient for us to collect a series of commands together so that we remember the steps that we're doing on a particular image and can do those same steps on another image. So if we look in this introduction to DSP new document, which we're working through, and scroll down to section 5, record macros, this is what we're going to be working at today in this video here. I'll come back to this in a moment. We'll go to ImageJ and open up in our images. Open up Lena, Color Lena. This file that we've worked on before on RGB, 512 by 512 pixels. What I want to do is look in plugins, macros. And we're going to record a macro now. We've got Lena open. We're going to record the steps that we are going to do in processing her. So this opens up. But if we go to Lena and say image, make a duplicate of Lena, then a duplicate is made and that command is stored in the macro. And then we'll go image type, for example, change that to 8-bit, and that little command there is stored in our macro too. Then we can go here, we can go image scale, scale the image by 0.5 in each direction, okay, to form a smaller one, and that's stored in the macro also. So we can do a number of steps on Lena or on any of our images, and they're stored here. We create a macro by clicking on this here, and there we have those steps there, and we can file and save this as a macro. I've already saved a test, but let me do it again. You should save it as a macro called a test, say, and it's .ijm.imagej macro. So it already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yes. So I've got that macro saved now, and I can use it again on Lena. Down. Can use it again by having Lena here and going to plugins, macros, run a macro on her. We have to look in where we've stored the macros. We've called it a test. We'll do that, and the macro runs, makes a copy, changes it to gray, and then scales it down. Of course, the beauty of the macro is that we can run it on any image. Now that we've created it, we can go to File, Open Samples, Clown Image. Here's another RGB image, and we'll run the same macro on that. So we'll run a test on it, and there we get the grayscale and then the scaled down image there. So that's a macro. Let me close a few of these here. If we go look at the macros again, we can edit the macro, this macro, and you can look at the other macros that are in there, and they might be of use to you. Here we can take lines out, for example. Or we can put in comments, a comment is a line like this with 2 forward slashes, and then we can file and save that again as an edited A test with the same name or with a different name, whatever. So I want to go back to here. That's what we've done now. We've recorded and we've ran and we've edited. Now I want you to look in exercise 1, a zip folder, unzip it, and you'll get 3 images. So that is here, that's here. I want you to download it, unzip it, put it in your 345 lesson 1. When you've unzipped it and open it up, there are 3 images in it and a PDF file. 3 images are needed to do the exercises in the PDF file. So I want you to open the PDF file, a number of exercises, 4 of them, and I want you to do number 1 and number 3. That is exercise 1.1 on macro recording. Just follow what it says here. This line is not any good anymore. I mean, it is recorded now in later versions of ImageJ, but run through this here from top to bottom. Exercise 1.1, skip 1.2, and do 1.3 on lookup tables, and work through these in your own time, I mean in the time allotted for this course. Let me go back into ImageJ just for a moment. I want you to look in documentation. Again, we've seen this before. Menu commands. We go down here, plugins, macros, and you can read up about those commands within the macro. Okay, so do that. Keep reading the documentation. Also in this documentation, there's a PDF file called macro language with more details in it you may want to read. We don't need to get into the macro language too much unless you want to. I'm going back here. So we've done that. We worked through exercise 1.1 and 1.3 and optionally 1.4 if you want to. And there are a few more little comments on the macro language in case you want to get a little bit fancier. But basically it's just recording the steps that you do in the plugin menu. It's saving them and editing them and applying them to different images.